Arizona Hot Homestead, my name is Jeff, and welcome to my channel. Here I document my experience of moving and living off the grid. I hope you find my channel entertaining. I hope you laugh. I hope you cry. I hope you learn some do's and don'ts. And now for our featured video, ArizonaHotHomestead.com. Plumbing for our water tank. Look at that mess that I have there. And I'll go over a little bit of detail of what the heck I did. In the meantime, I showed you a little bit about my PEX line and insulating it a little earlier. But I thought what I'll do is go over some of the parts that I used. So, for your standard PVC on threads, you use this tape stuff. This gunk right here is what you use on PVC. One of it is a primer, and then the other one is a glue. Obviously you put the primer on each end and the glue on each end and slap it together, maybe a quarter of a turn, and you're good to go. That's for your standard PVC. Your standard PVC might look similar to this stuff here. This is called a union, and it's a union because it actually comes apart. Let me see if I can do this real quick here. It's hard to do it with one hand. Basically, this piece right here spins and comes off. So you got a gasket to keep the seal, and then that's your other half, and it just goes over like say. Now this one just happens to be a threaded. The ones I used was a slip, which means there's no thread. Reason why I use a couple of unions, and I'll show you where I used them, but the reason why I used the unions was because it makes it easy if I have to take it apart and work on it. That way I don't have to cut anything. I can just unscrew it, screw it back together. We talked earlier about that PEX line. This is that PEX line. This is 3/4. This just happens to be a brand called Shark Bite. It's one of your most popular brands for consumers. And the fittings are unique in the sense that on the fittings, you have this where you just slip it in, and that's all there is to it. It's actually easier to put together than that stuff. But you just slip it together, and it holds a watertight fitting. Here it is put together. Now this orange thing right there, that tool there is used to take them apart, and you can take them apart often. So if you screw up or you need to make a change or something, when you put this on, this is 3/4 inch. It'll slide down here to the end. Now, I can't do it because I don't have a tripod to show this, but basically you push this way by gripping it like this, for an example, or like this, or whatever, somehow to where you get a good grip. Let me twist it a little bit here. Yeah, and you get a good grip like this. So you would pull this back, and then this side here with your other hand, you'd twist, slowly twist it, and it would actually come apart. Now I don't know if you can see, but there is a piece right, there's a lip right in between these two. When that lip is pressed in and this pulls out, it should come out. Now this is not easy. They say it is, but I had a double of the time trying to figure out how to get it to work, and finally I got it to work. I don't know what it was, if it was just the weather or my strength, or just keep trying and eventually you get it. Again, this is just the packaging that some of the brass fittings comes in. That's the brand that I went with. Now the PEX, when it freezes, actually will expand. and because it expands a little bit, that keeps it from freezing, whereas a regular PVC like this stuff here, that's not going to expand, so that will just crack and it becomes brittle in cold weather. Brass actually in cold weather doesn't become brittle, so it will actually withstand a little bit more freeze than PVC will. So when you do your plumbing in cold weather, you really want to stay away from standard PVC, but sometimes you just got to do a mix and match. So I ended up with literally a mix and match, and again I'll show you that here in a second. Some duct tape that I used, I'll show you where I used it. What else? Oh, this stuff here, this rubber pipe insulation, and then this tube here. This tube here has a sticky, see the tape on there? That actually will stick together, and that's mainly for copper, but you can also use it for PVC and PEX and all that, and I'll show you that here in a second. This is some foil tape that I did not use, but I got it and I still may use it. And what else? Oh, my radiant barrier stuff. I showed you a little bit of that radiant barrier in one of my other videos, so hopefully you're watching all the videos. This is not designed for it. They have other wraps for pipes, but this was inexpensive to cover a lot, so I just went with this stuff here. This is like, was it like 25 feet and 2 feet wide, so I just went with this to wrap around the piping that was underground that I really didn't need to. This rubber tape here, that outer piece comes off, and that's where it sticks onto the pipe itself. This cutter here is a pretty cool ratchet cover. Helps you get some clean cuts. So I use that on everything. So let's go look at my plumbing mess that I did. Now, like I said in my videos, this is for entertainment, and I hope you'll laugh and cry and all that stuff. Well, you're going to laugh over this. First off, cinder blocks. What the heck are cinder blocks, and what's that inside them? That's cement. What? Well, here's my deal. We couldn't get this tank turned to where it was a straight shot into my trench. So because we couldn't turn this thing, I had to figure out a way to get my pump lined up with the trench and the outlet of the tank. So in doing so, something like this is what I came up with. But my original thought was put the tank in the ground. Well, that made sense because this pipe is in the ground. However, I just kept dreaming and nightmaring that it was just going to fill up with water, and then there would be a mess, and it would ruin my pump and all that stuff. Then I have to get a bilge pump in there, and I don't want to do that, and what a disaster. So, but if it's above ground level, well, don't have to worry about it leaking or filling up with water pulling up. So this is what I came up with. Now the reason for the block is because there's already a hole here. If I pack dirt down in there, the dirt's not going to settle for quite a while, which means this thing could settle at an angle and bust some of my fittings. So if I do the cement block, now the cement block is at a solid, it's a solid foundation basically now, because it ain't going to settle at all now. I put some of the cement in there just to help hold the block together so they don't collapse and shift on me. But I left this hole here because obviously that's where my outlet is. So, or I guess outlet to the tank and inlet to the pump, if you will. So I've got to leave that, but if that floods, I'm okay with that. I have them turned off right now, but so that's okay if those leak. Now, this whole thing will have a box over it, so it'll be an insulated box. All these pipes will also be insulated. I started insulating it, and then I said, oh wait, video. So, this pipe right here is a PEX insulated flex tubing. It's only 24 inches long, and that's the only length it comes in. So I couldn't get any other lengths, which is fine because it was pretty expensive. But it makes a nice, as you can tell, I don't need an elbow right there because it bends for me. Now I'm going to insulate that with this, with that radiant barrier. I'm going to go up through here and right there. Now that's where I stopped with that foam tubing stuff, just because that's just not quite 2 feet under, but that should be okay, especially with that one there. I might put another section across there if I have more, but what I did was I went with that foam tubing, that long foam tubing all the way up here. That there is just an outlet in case I want to attach more stuff to it. Went around this corner, there's one of my unions, and then into, where's the pump at? And into the pump there, and then I will continue it all through here and all the way down into there, and also cover that down there. Once everything is in place, those valves, that's just an emergency valve. I've got 2 of them because, not because I'm crazy. I don't know. I replumbed this already 20 times, so forgive how it looks. Like I said, this is for entertainment. This here is literally a whole house 1-inch inlet outlet settlement filter. So that's to make sure that my pump stays clean. So if stuff does get into my tank, it won't get into my pump, hopefully. So that should last me a long time there. That's a big sucker. Yeah, it's just something for it to set on, to give it some brace. I'm going to put right here on the edge of this, because as water flows through this, it was going to weight this down. So I got to put a support piece right here. Everything else looks fine. I'll probably put a support piece right here in between the bottom of that guy and there, even though this here will probably do it. I'll probably just put a block of wood or something there just for peace of mind. But all that's going to get insulated with this foam tubing. I got duct tape to kind of help hold it in place. And then what I'm going to do on top of this foam tubing is that pipe wrap, that rubber wrap that I showed you. I'm going to wrap everything on top of that with that rubber wrap. Also what I'm going to do is right here is where water is going to be in my tank, and that silver thing. So I can cut that, and because it's sticky on one side, it will actually stick on there. So I'm going to stick pieces on there just to help give it some added warmth. And then I don't know, create some kind of jacket to put on there just to help hold it. This is an air tank here. I may also put some kind of jacket around that. Something like you might want to find with water heaters. I may make one just because when air gets cold, the pressure of air will decrease, and this has to maintain at 23 psi. So I don't want to be 0 degrees outside and have this drop down to 15 psi or whatever and not run properly. So I may do that to help keep that warm. It's an AC, so I'll have in the box here, I'll have a GCFI plug for that. It will be a dual outlet plug, so I can put a heater in if I need to. But that's the basics there. I'm going to fill all this in with dirt. Obviously insulate that whole thing. This filter, I'll do something with that filter, because obviously there's water in there and I don't want that to freeze. So I'll probably use some of that foam wrap stuff and just wrap it up, kind of make a jacket for that as well. So it's going to be rigged up, but I'm hoping that the layers and all that will help. Now on top of that foam, jacket, that foam wrap stuff, I'm thinking, because it's relatively inexpensive, taking this wrap, that radiant barrier stuff, and just continuing it all the way up, even on top of that other layer. So I'll have, what will I have? I'll have that hose foam, I'll have the rubber wrap, I'll have the radiant barrier on top of it, and then I'll either use that reflective tape or duct tape to hold the radiant barrier in place. And that will be, holy cow, that will be super thick. That will also help out that union. Will help out that union for on the what you call it? Help keep that union from freezing too. And if I need to get to it, I can just cut it away and retape it, put it back on. So I've already tested for leaks, so there is no leak so far, at least. But that's that. That's coming out of the water tank. So I think I covered all that. When it comes time to show you how I'll put water in there, I'll do that. But anyhow, now I got the task of covering this stuff up. Alright, so let me go over there and let me show you what it looks like over there. Before we look at the trailer side of the plumbing, I figure maybe I'll show you this household filter. This is the one I purchased. That's the one that I just showed you. High flow house water filtration unit. My biggest concern when I got this was I needed it for 1-inch plumbing. The pump itself is 1-inch plumbing, and you don't want to downsize it to 3/4 and go from there. You want and have it come out 1 and then back to 3/4. It's better to have it, for an example, 1 coming out and then going down to 3/4. So that's why I went with this one, so I could do 1-inch. So obviously they used, on the diagram here, they got different plumbing than me, but basically this is what I got. This tool here is what takes that on and off. Takes a H filter. Here is the tool. Looks like one of those things you dip in soap and then you blow it, bubbles. That's kind of cool. I should give that to my niece. No, wait, I might need that. She's too old for that anyhow. And then obviously instructions that you only read the instructions after you put it together. So, oh wait, there's other parts in here. Uh-oh. What are those? Oh crap. Maybe I need to look into that. What the heck is that? Uh-oh. Gotta go. I gotta figure out what the heck this is. Anyhow, if I figure it out, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I don't know, maybe it's to tell me that the filter's dirty. Wow. Surprise, surprise. My dad opened up the container. I didn't. Alright, so if I figure this out, I'll put it at the end of this video. If not, it means I just threw it away. Talk to you later. Oh wait, we got to go over to the trailer side now and show you that plumbing. Alright, it does help when you read stuff that's on the box. It's actually right here in the very front of the filter box. So this is a magnetic filter change alert light. Now on the bottom of this, that's a magnet. So here's your reset button and there's your light. All this is a timer. You put 2 AA batteries in there, and it came with a couple of AA's, or with AAA's. Came with a couple of AAA's. But you put those in there and all this is a timer. So when you put this, because of the magnet, you can actually put it right on that bracket. So you can put it on top of the bracket so it goes like this, or you can put it on the bracket like that, or it said it's remote, so you can put it 30 feet away if you want. All it is a timer. And so I guess it's based on, I don't know, a timer to me makes sense. because it's like a calendar saying, hey, it's time to check it. But that's about it. If I'm checking a light, why not spend an extra 2 minutes and check the filter? You know, I'm hoping to be putting nothing but clean water in the tank itself to begin with, so I shouldn't have to go through very much. But being out here in the middle of nowhere and doing rainwater and maybe occasional well delivery water, I think I'm going to just be checking it every so often. I don't think I'm going to use this. Good little tool though. So when you buy something, read the box. I always like look at it and figure it out myself, and then I read the instructions. So anyhow, so I was going to add this to the end, so when I said earlier go to the trailer, now I'm just going to attach this right after the filter, and then we'll go to the trailer. So this time off to the trailer plumbing, and I promise. Alright, here we are at the trailer end, and as you can see on that radiant barrier that's about 2 feet wide, see I cut it about a 6-inch piece, and I just wrapped it around, duct tape every now and then just to hold it in place. And there's that PEX flex tubing, insulated PEX flex tubing. Now this is kind of where we got all kinds of stuff going on here. We've got that regular PEX right in there, just because there was no way of putting a fitting from there to there. I'm limited to what I can do with that, because it's either that type of fitting or it's a, where are we at? Or it's the hose bib fitting, right? Well, not hose bib, because I had to convert it to a hose bib fitting there. So I got a piece there and I got a piece down there. I've got a valve here that's just for my peace of mind, so that if I need to work on something up here I can. I've also got a T right there. I don't have anything coming out of it just yet, but I will. I'm going to just cap that for now. The reason why, again, I have that T is the same reason back over by the pump, is because it gives me some flexibility. Unfortunately, I got to put little bitty PEX pieces in between to help hold it together, but that's about it. Having up here, I had to actually go with some fittings. That piece right there is one fitting, and that is the hose, and then I had to do that fitting there. All of it so far does not leak. So what I'm going to do on this end is I've stopped right there with that for now. I'm going to come in with that foam tubing stuff, and it's going to go from there all the way up to there. Then I'm going to take that rubber wrap, and I'm going to wrap on top just like I was going to do with the pump. Wrap right on top of it, and then on top of that I'm going to take this and continue it all the way up. Now what's going to be interesting is that valve is going to end up being covered up, so I got to figure out how to protect that and yet still make it accessible. And then same thing with the piece coming out too. Now this piece right here, I'm real concerned about that, just because it looks difficult to cover. And behind that wall, I don't know how well it's insulated, probably not very good. So I'm hoping it doesn't bust inside the wall. There is a cap that you can put on this, so I'm going to cover that thing up and also put the cap on it. So, and then what I was thinking of doing was building a external box, or building a box to encase this whole thing. I'm not too sure how I'll do that, but I figure if I do another box, it's just another layer. But that's, I don't know if I will or not. I'm just thinking out loud. But that should be, I'm thinking everything should be fine. I didn't need to do that, but I did it anyhow. I think it helps protect the pipe from rubbing against any potential rocks down in the soil and busting a hole. And yeah, it insulates it, and it's a couple feet under the ground almost, and I should be okay. So that is my plumbing for the water tank. Once I cover it all up, I guess my next video is going to be the pump house itself, on what that's going to look like. And then so when I do that, I'll do a video on that one, and that should cover at least the pumping of the water to the tank, to the trailer. And then eventually I gotta get to where I could do the rain gutters, huh? Jeff, Arizona Hot Homestead. Hey, did you subscribe? Comment, like. If I don't see you there, I'll see you on the web. Arizona Hot Homestead, thanks for watching our video today. Hopefully you had a good time, you enjoyed it, you laughed, you cried, it was entertaining, you learned something. Hopefully you subscribed, liked, commented. This is Arizona Hot Homestead. If I don't see you there, I'll see you on the web.